Earlier today, Spirit was speaking to me about creatives and all of us who are creatives, but feel like we have possibly lost our creative drive, creative thrust. And spirits, I'm sorry, I feel like when I'm channeling the energy is coming in, so stuff got to come out. So I be burping. Sorry, but anywho, um, Spirit is saying if you feel like you've lost your creative edge, your creative thrust, if you feel like you are in a creative block, it is because you haven't made time really to be creative. Spirit is saying that in order for you to get that fire, to light that fire, it's still there, but it's not a, I'm so visual sometimes. It's not a high flame, it's a small smolder, right? In order for you to allow that flame to grow and feed that flame, you got to give it air, meaning you have to make space. You got to make space for your creativity um to live, right? Another part of that message, Spirit was saying, in your inner child also needs space, because we create from a place of, I don't want to say innocence, but it's the creativity as a child. Children create with Legos, they create with Play-Doh. Shoot, not for nothing, I was one of them little kids that created with mud, okay? So children create naturally, they just create because they have the space. They are not weighed down by the burdens of life. They have the freedom to be able to do that. And Spirit is saying to you, if this resonates with you, you have to make space to be free, to be creative, to let your inner child do what your inner child wants to do. Like, I see somebody who's sitting right before a painting, a canvas, sitting right before the canvas. You got the paint in hand, and you're like, okay, I just need inspiration. Put your brush, put your brush to the canvas. Start painting first without color. Paint without color, just to give kind of wake that muscle memory back up. Doing that first and then add some color in, or paint with pencil, meaning draw with pencil, whatever it is. The key to what Spirit is saying to you today is that you have to give your inner child the space to live. In that space is your creativity. It is more creative ideas. There is a joy that you once had when you were creating that you've lost, but something in you has awakened and is now desiring to get that joy back. In order to get that joy back, you got to create the space for it. There is, as much as busy as we adults are adulting and living life, because life is and can be heavy sometimes, we still have to make space, take time to find our joy, find our happiness, allowing our inner child to have the space to be free. That could look like you going in the yard and just walking in the grass. It could look like you going to the park and getting on the swings. It could look like you getting back to doing some of the things that brought you joy and happiness and just freedom when you were in your younger years or when you were a child. Spirit is saying it's time to get back to that, because in that is, I hear satisfaction, but there is satisfaction in that for sure. That's the word, because nothing else is coming after it. So there is satisfaction in that. If you feel like life is just too heavy, take a break from it. Take a break from it by going back and doing something that you actually love to do. That is going to, that's how you keep that spark lit, but that's also how that spark turns into a big flame. Okay, I hope this message resonates for someone. If it does, let me know. What is your creative art? Mine used to be poetry. Mine used to be making songs, writing songs. At one point in time, I thought I could sing. I thought I could sing. So I used to write songs. I just knew I was going to be the next big thing. I ain't about to start. I ain't getting back into. I'm not gonna say what I'm not gonna do. The Spirit's like, nope, you can't. And I ain't gonna say what I'm not gonna do because I don't know where I'm being led to go, what I'm being led to do. But I do know I do love writing. Writing was my thing. I love writing short stories, novels, poetry, and stuff like that. And so, yeah, this message was for me, but I feel like it applies to others also. As always, I'm not the only one going through this journey. We are all going through this journey of awakening, finding ourselves, rediscovering ourselves, remembering who we are. There's another video. There's another video. I'm going to speak about remembering who we are. But yeah, if you're trying to get back to your creative space and be more creative, you got to allow the space, allow the freedom, allow the joy, allow the happiness. You got a half hour to take to doodle. You got an hour that you could find where, as opposed to turning the TV on, as opposed to scrolling social media, there was that post about social media, but as opposed to doing those things, allow yourself to be free. Journaling is always a good thing. And if not journaling, just writing. Write down what you see before you. Write down some observances that you've noticed, things that have happened throughout the week. I hear a lot of people say they don't know how per se to journal because they need prompts. Here's the prompt. What did you see this week that caught your attention? Write on that. Why did it catch your attention? Write on that. What was some of the things that you were feeling this week? This week with this full moon tonight, May 31st, the full moon. Full moons tend to bring up a lot of emotions for people. And this full moon in particular its purpose was to bring up things that you can no longer sit quiet about. Its purpose was to show you yourself in the light of, okay, you see this, I need you to be done with this, because where you want to go, you have to be done with this. You can't live like this no more. You can't behave like this no more. You can't think like this no more. So this full moon brought up a lot of things, especially I've been hearing a lot of people talk about the fear of visibility. Fear of visibility, fear of being seen has been something came up for me this week as I did my first live, pushing through that. Sometimes the only way to it is through it, right? Sometimes the only way to confront your fear and recognize that your fear is all in your head. It's made up. It is the things that you've been telling yourself that it's not true anymore. These are it wasn't true to begin with, but somebody planted the seed, you held on to the seed, you nurtured the seed, you allowed the seed to grow. Now it's time to uproot the seed because it no longer can fit in your garden. You need to make space for something else in your garden. And that space comes from you making space. Just make it, period. Like if we're talking about pruning a garden, you're getting rid of the old. Obviously, Spirit is just reminding me that's my goal for today, is to prune my garden. It is to make space because I have new that I want to plant. That is a seed. That's a word in itself. Spirit said you got to make space in your garden, the garden of you, because Spirit wants to plant a new seed where what was no longer is. It's dead. It no longer it's not producing fruit anymore. Because it's not producing fruit anymore, it's time to let it go. It's time to prune it out so some new seeds can be planted that will produce now. Okay? Dang, this message just went but that's what happens. That's how my mind works. That's how Spirit leads me, and I just follow it. So I hope this message works or speaks or resonates with someone. And if you got questions, ask me. I'll be glad to respond. So all right, y'all, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you again soon.